Thank you, everybody. Ralph, I thought this was going to be a small little breakfast and we were just going to hang out this morning. I didn't realize it was going to be a group of incredible speakers and then that you would put me between Dr. Ben Carson and Mark Robinson. So I'm just going to talk for 20 seconds and leave the stage if that's okay. No, but thank you so much. And yeah, I did used to work for the mainstream media. I didn't realize how bad it was. I mean, I knew that it was a liberal bastion. And that, you know, if you were the one or two conservative voices in the newsroom, you had to kind of try to balance things out a little bit. And thankfully, I was the last line of defense because I was the news anchor that, you know, read the news and told people what was happening. And it was during COVID. And unfortunately, I wasn't living in Governor Kristi Noem's state. We were living in a state that got locked down twice. And it was during COVID that they separated us out from the newsroom and sent part of us home so we wouldn't spread COVID. And I got sent home to set up a home studio there and report the news for a number of months. And during that time, churches were closed. Our church was by appointment only. And I really started feeling a need because everything started to feel very out of control to get back to church, to get my butt in a seat at church. But our church was appointment only. And so I started reading the Bible because I was working in my office at home, and I looked over and I said, oh, that's the Bible from my confirmation. I haven't touched that thing in a long time, probably really since I was like 14, 15, 16. But you know, when you're working in a newsroom, it's not like you have a Bible sitting on your news desk. People will look at you like you're crazy. So I started reading the Bible, and I started realizing that the news I was reading was a lie, and the Bible, which was sitting over here, was the truth. And it was a very emotional moment, and I started realizing that my profession, after working all my life to get into that position, to have this great dream job, I realized that my profession, when I lifted my nose off the grindstone, had gone by the wayside, had become nothing more than propaganda. And I started realizing that what they were asking us to put forth and put out to the people, the great people of my state, was half-truths, which is really a nice way of saying a lie. There was no interest in getting to the bottom of things. We were dividing people, stirring up anger, isolating people, and really hurting people and hurting our community. And I will never forget, one night I came out of my office at 10:30, and my husband, Jeff, was in the living room not watching the news, watching something else. He didn't watch the news. He didn't watch me on the news. Can you believe that? It was bad news all the time. I said, I don't think I can do this much longer. I feel that this is becoming immoral work. And once you know it's immoral, once you know it's a lie and immoral, and you continue to do it, what does that make you immoral? So my amazing husband, I said, I think I want to walk away from this. Now, this is not just a minimum wage job. This is a 7-figure contract. And he said, if you really want to, I know it's really hard for you, then go ahead. And as I was getting prepared to do it, it took me a few more months to really come to grips with it. And I remember that last moment where I was about to tell my bosses I'm quitting and I'm leaving and tell them why. And I went into my office again, and that dusty Bible was there. And I started praying to God. I said, I need an answer. I need to make sure, if I trust that this is the right thing, because I know it is, that I'm not going to regret it in 6 months. Can you give me a sign? Can you give me an answer that I'm not going to regret this and go, wow, that was a stupid thing to do? And I pulled my Bible off my desk, opened it up, and I dropped my finger down and looked down, and what I saw was 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 7. You bring nothing into this world, and it is for certain that you take nothing out. And that was when that's when he said, don't worry about that big paycheck. I've got you covered. I've got a bigger plan for you. So I tell you the story because I thought I would leave that career and just go live a private life. I'd lived a very public life for 30 years, and I was actually looking forward to just kind of living a private life, doing something a little bit less big, less out there. And then God had different plans for me, and I find myself in the middle of the political world right now. But that's what happened when you hand your life over to God. And I said, God, I'm yours. I'm not yours 75%. I'm not just going to be yours when I'm in trouble. I'm not just going to be yours when things are going rough, and I pray and hope that you'll get me through it. I'm yours every day, all day, 100% of the time. And I'm going to make this brief because I want to get to Mark, but that doesn't come easy. When you make a sacrifice and when you hand your life over to God and say, I'm going to live as a Christian, 100% walk the walk, talk the talk, that doesn't come easy. We know that because we know the story of Jesus Christ. If we think it's going to be easy and everyone's going to love us, then we really don't know the Bible. It's going to be hard. And that's why I tell people now, half jokingly but half truthful, if you're not being indicted, lawfared to death, canceled, subpoenaed, deposed, arrested, put in jail, sued, if you're not knocking doors, if you are not talking to people about politics, if you're not ruffling feathers, if things feel really easy for you right now, you're not doing enough. You're not doing enough. All my best friends are being lawfared to death. Some of my best friends are in prison because they talked. So we gotta make sure in this, we have such an opportunity in this next 4 years with President Trump. We have an amazing opportunity that God has handed to us to turn this great nation that he had a hand in founding to do something and do something brave and courageous to save it. I want to do that in the next 4 years. I think all of you do as well. And so I just want you to remember, I know that every once in a while I wake up at 3 a.m. I'm not the only one who gets a little nervous. What's coming at us the next day? What's going to be in the news the next day? How are we going to handle it? And just remember that same God that was with Moses, part of the Red Sea, that same God that was with our founding fathers when they bravely signed the Declaration of Independence, which was a death sentence, is with us right now. And he's not diminished. He's not a smaller God. Just because culture's pushed him out, he's not a smaller God. He's still that almighty God, the almighty God who saved President Trump on Saturday. So I thank you, Ralph, for just becoming such a wonderful, important part of my life. And I thank all of you. And I'm looking forward to being Christian soldiers with you as we go into this next 4 years and beyond. Thank you for the opportunity tonight. Thank you for allowing me to speak. Thank you.